Good afternoon, everybody, and happy National Payroll Week 2025. I hope you've all had a brilliant week of celebrations and you've shined a spotlight on all the invaluable work that you do and how incredible our industry is. I'm Laura Murphy and I'm the content editor here at the CIPP, and I'm delighted to be presenting Joanne Leather to you. That's IPPE's Education Manager. And she's going to be talking all around the knowledge and skills needed to be a payroll professional, which I'm sure, as you're all aware, there are lots of different things for payroll professionals to be considering. So before I hand over to Jo, we do want this session to be as interactive as possible. So as Jo's going through the webinar, please do pop any questions you may have into the Q&A tab that you'll see at the top of the screen. If you do accidentally pop that in the chat, don't worry, we have the lovely Libby from events here to move that across to Q&A so that we can pick that up at the end. We do also have the function of upvoting. So if somebody else asks a question that you think, I really want to hear the answer to that, then please do use the upvoting function and I can ensure that we prioritise those questions for Jo. So I'm going to stop talking now and hand you over to Jo. Good afternoon, Jo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Laura, and thank you to everybody for joining this session this afternoon. So, what are we going to cover today? I'm going to really take you through payroll as a career. So, what can a payroll career look like, and the types of roles that are available. I'm going to talk to you a bit about meeting the expectation of those roles. So what knowledge and skills are sometimes required to embark on a career in payroll. Then I'm going to go through some structured learning. What is structured learning and why is it important? And then take you through what qualifications and training courses IPPE have to offer to get you where you want to be in your career. And then look at how membership can support you from beginning to end, and topping off with how you get the very best combination of knowledge, skills and continual development. So hopefully there's a little bit in there for everybody that's joined this afternoon. So as you can see from the slide that I've put together here, there's many varied roles within the pay industry, and there are key skills and knowledge that are required for each and every one of them. Now, there are many people that think of payroll as a maths-driven process role, but as you can see here, there's so many facets to this industry that you can look to specialise in. Of course, the roles on this slide are just an example of what I've pulled together and are certainly not exhaustive. But you've probably heard it said before that there's over 170 pieces of UK legislation that can directly impact payroll as an industry. It's an ever-evolving industry. And not only from those external influences like legislative changes, but also changes to people's lifespans or chosen lifestyles that can influence change in how pay and benefits impact businesses. So it's quite diverse in a lot of areas. Of course, with all of these roles, there comes a level of interpersonal skills. This being such an emotive industry, those interpersonal skills are key. And dealing with people and people's pay has the potential to impact their quality of life and their families. So it's not surprising that, it's quite a heartfelt subject. And these are just a couple of examples. I mean, I could go on with things such as problem solving, risk management, and of course, the need to have that really keen eye for detail. But I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into the vast amount of roles that are available. So let's go through a little bit about how we meet the expectation of some of these many roles that are there. And the expectation of roles in all professions have evolved over time, and the pay industry is certainly no exception to that at all. Payroll does follow strict legislative and employment law, but it's still far from being a one-size-fits-all kind of industry. Because payroll's at the heart of every single industry worldwide, each payroll department has its own challenges. And of course, this means that there are many aspects to the pay industry that go beyond just knowing the technical aspects of payroll and having some excellent interpersonal skills. To work within the pay industry today, you need to apply things like logical thinking, be endlessly accurate, have a proactive problem solving approach, be a data analyst, and quite often even have skills akin to project management. You need to identify risks, mitigate against them, continuously drive for improvements in those accuracy and efficiencies. And all of this needs to be done within the most rigid of deadlines. The pay industry is massively rewarding, in my opinion. So many people that I speak to are so glad they fell into this industry. But it's not to be denied that the skills and knowledge required to work within the industry are quite extensive. So let's take a little look at structured learning and what it is. So structured learning addresses 5 key areas, in my opinion. Team development. So on-the-job training and independent learning are absolutely fundamental, but there's no real substitute, from my perspective, for a bit of structured learning as well. So whether you see structured learning as a formal qualification or as a training course, you can be sure that you're getting the correct information and all of the information that you need. One of the common training methods that I come across is asking current employees to train peers. And, this can work quite well in industries, but you quite often get a bit of poor transfer of processes and inefficiencies with this method, mainly because you can have employees that have been with the business for a long time, and if they're doing the same role day in, day out, they tend to follow on with the same way of doing that role, and they may not be aware that actually there's more efficient ways of doing it. So any gaps in knowledge can end up not being addressed. And also, of course, if you internally focus your business needs, then you will only get the focus of your business. But structured learning allows a broader view of different perspectives and can bring best practices into an organisation rather than promoting that sort of how we've always done it mentality. Structured learning also looks at personal development. It's about having the confidence in your abilities and your knowledge. Relying on software such as payroll software without the understanding of what that software is doing for you makes it extremely difficult to answer certain queries and deal with issues if anything does go wrong. Of course, expanding your professional network and developing your personal brand and profile are also critical to your own development and your future pathway. Structured learning offers a community of practice. So you can be studying with other like-minded professionals, which enables you to belong to an additional community or network and really hone your best practice, finding your best elements, your strengths in the industry. And as a business, of course, you want the confidence in the financial services that you offer, so that you can increase job security, maintain staff morale, and increase productivity by ensuring that each team member has the skills they need to succeed in their role. When it comes to career progression, being able to prove your skills to your employer or prospective employers, This means that you can be sure you have the full skill set. When recruiting new team members, you can benchmark their skills. And structured learning also shows the topics and skills that you might need to know about at more senior levels. So it gives you something within your career to work towards in achieving your personal goals as well. So let's look at structured learning in the form of qualifications. IPPE has qualifications really to support every step of your career. These qualifications have been developed in collaboration with industry leads and are delivered and assessed by payroll professionals, which sort of sets us apart from a lot of other organisations that offer qualification suites. Enabling you to gain the very best knowledge with the context to practically apply it in your day-to-day role is our main focus when developing our qualifications. In addition to qualifications that IPPE offer, there's also 2 apprenticeships available in payroll, one at level 3 and one at level 5. And whilst IPPE does not teach these programs at all, we do offer an endpoint assessment service. And our service again offers qualified assessors who are also payroll professionals, which provides apprentices with the comfort that their knowledge is understood. The industry that they're working in is understood by the assessor and also appreciated. So if we look at the entry level, what IPPE considers an entry level into the industry at level 3, qualifications starting here, these are really packed with the knowledge and skills needed to understand the legislation that surrounds payroll and the practical application of payroll processing. So once you've got that sort of key knowledge, the level 4 qualifications delve a little bit deeper into more complex elements and start to introduce those softer skills that are also required. Qualifications offerings then move into levels 5 and 6, where leadership and management skills are developed and the introduction of a more strategic approach leads learners nicely into level 7, which has a full focus on strategy. So if we look at qualifications on offer up to level 5 through IPPE, these lower level qualifications, again, as I said, offer a more detailed step-by-step approach to teaching. As the levels progress, we introduce more techniques for self-research, giving learners the opportunity to gain skills in problem solving, project direction, and leadership behaviours. So if we look at those lower level qualifications at level 3, we have the payroll technician certificate. So this is designed for people new to the industry or those wishing to improve their working knowledge of the basic payroll processes, so that core knowledge, really what that software is doing for you every week or month when it's calculating payroll. So the PTC qualification covers those core skills, as I say, such as calculating gross pay, identifying the differences between taxable and nickable pay, manual calculation of income tax, national insurance, student loan deductions, and all of the statutory payments. It's a 26-week course and is delivered via e-learning, which means that the content is available to students through the IPPE online learning platform, and contains digital interaction content, including quizzes and activities to really embed and test knowledge. If we look then at the PTC Advanced Diploma, so this is slightly longer at 36 weeks. It's delivered in the same format, and the qualification starts with the same 5 units as the original payroll technician certificate. But it then moves on to introduce holiday pay and pay obligations in automatic enrolment processes, and also detail on salary sacrifice arrangements as well. Then we look at level 4. So this is the payroll specialist certificate. Now, as I said, at level 4, it just basically takes learners into those more complex elements that you can face when processing payroll, but still around the payroll processing element. So it's designed for people who have worked in payroll for a while, such as supervisors or specialists, and those looking to take their career pathway into the management area. So it looks at more obscure tax codes and NI categories that are less often used. It's got sections on advanced national minimum wage calculations and the consideration around irregular pay frequencies with national minimum wage as well. It looks at shared parental leave and pay and bereavement leave and pay. It also starts to introduce, as I said earlier, those slightly softer skills. So it starts to introduce the moral responsibility of payroll to deal with circumstances that can quite often be delicate, and how to support employees going through some delicate life experiences as well. So this course has a 38-week duration, delivered on the same interactive platform. However, in addition to the digital content, it also offers student online peer-to-peer discussions. So this encourages problem-solving skills and debate on the best practices and outcomes that should be taking place within payroll department. And then we move into level 5. Now, the new level 5 payroll management diploma is launching the first intake next month in October. We're really excited about this new qualification. It's around 16 months in duration and consists of 5 units, each with content that gives payroll leaders the confidence to stand out amongst their peers. This is a lot more modern diploma than the previous foundation degree that was run through Worcester University. And the content covers management skills and styles for the modern manager. It also touches on areas of how AI can shape the future of payroll within the industry, and how you can understand the pluses and minuses really to using forms of AI. It looks at complex holiday pay and overpayments, so really delves into those issues that managers tend to face the questions on rather than their teams. And it looks at benefit strategies and project management as well. So project management around payroll, so it's looking at the projects that payroll managers quite often get drawn into, like the implementation of new systems or transferring from in-house to outsourced payrolls, or the other way around, transferring from outsourcing to in-house payrolls as well. So now I want to take a look a little bit at the partner qualifications that IPPE offer. So these are ones that we partner with academic institutes with. So the first one is the FDSC Payroll Management UK, and this is a 3-year part-time foundation degree that's delivered and awarded by the University of Lincoln. Now, applicants on this programme do need to be qualified in payroll at least to a level 3. So have successfully completed either the level 3 payroll administrator apprenticeship, the payroll technician certificate, or that payroll technician certificate advanced. And the content now on this programme is predominantly business management based, but there is one module that has been developed in partnership with IPPE and the CIPP to ensure that the payroll content within it remained payroll compliant. The qualification starts at level 4 and then continues into level 5 during that 3 years, and covers topics such as managing people and considering resource and development in teams, problem solving, project management, change management, and risk mitigation and management. Those slightly more technical elements are around the troubleshooting of various payroll scenarios and also employment law, touching on contract recruitment and data compliance, etc. Student loans are available through Student Finance England for this qualification, and the normal funding conditions apply. So by those conditions, that means that you need to have not had a student loan previously, and you need to not be qualified to an equal level of this qualification to qualify for a student loan from Student Finance England. Moving on to level 6. So the level 6 BSc in Leadership and Management. This is a full bachelor's degree top-up for those who have completed the foundation degree in payroll management with the University of Worcester, or the foundation degree of science in with the University of Lincoln, the one that I've just gone through, the FDSC. So if you've completed either of those qualifications or have a minimum of 3 years managerial experience, and you need to also be currently employed in an ongoing managerial position, so to be able to qualify for this level 6 qualification. It can be completed fully online, which is one of the things that University of Lincoln are really good at, their online degree programs, and is 18 months in duration, and is delivered and awarded by the University of Lincoln, as I've said. So this qualification focuses more on critical thinking and research techniques that can be practically applied in business and management. Then finally, at level 7, there is either the MBA or the MSc, which are the highest of the university awarded and CIPP approved qualifications on offer. So the MBA is a 3-year part-time programme, and that's delivered by the University of Lincoln in partnership with IPPE and approved by the CIPP, of course. And it's aimed at experienced managers. So this is for people who have already have a degree level qualification or have substantial relevant work experience. So they're looking really for a minimum of 3 years managerial experience for this qualification. You also have to have a reasonable amount of academic education to make the journey a little bit easier. It is quite a tough programme, but it looks at recognising your leadership style, leading and developing people, engaging through coaching, mentoring and feedback processes. It looks at cybersecurity and the risks, and organisational financial health. So there is a finance module in this one. And then, as I say, we have 2 level 7 programs. The MSc is delivered by Loughborough University, not the University of Lincoln, but is also in partnership with IPPE. And again, this one is aimed at experienced managers with the same sort of entry criteria as the MBA. Now, this is a 3-year programme and is offered part-time and block taught. So this means that students typically do the main body of their studying online, but then attends the campus at Loughborough for 2 or 3 weeks of every other month. So every second month, you have a 2 or 3 week sort of teaching session at Loughborough University. Now, for the next intake, October 2025, enrolments will be closing on that at the end of this month. But there are a couple of routes that you can take to study this qualification. So one of those is drawing on the apprenticeship levy, and that funding can only be drawn on for the first 2 years of study to achieve a postgraduate diploma in strategic leadership. And then the third year would need to be funded either by yourself or your employer to gain that master's in strategic leadership. Now, of course, if you do look to go down the apprenticeship levy route, it is a standard apprenticeship. So you have the full structure of the apprenticeship framework that needs to be met, with all the mentoring and employer support required, and that 20% of study that needs to be done in work's time, which is why those blocks of learning where you attend Loughborough are done during the working day, because they can count as your 20%. So, as I said, the apprenticeship route, the levy does only cover the first 2 years, so that third year would need to be either employer or self-funded. And the levy option is only available for this intake due to the changes in the levy funding rules, which apply from April 2026. So these changes in the funding rules have removed the option for the levy funding of postgraduate apprenticeships for anyone over the age of 22. So if you're under the age of 22 and wanting to study this, although I don't quite know how anybody under the age of 22 will reach a level 7 in time, but if you are one of those people, then congratulations, and you can use the levy funding continually after April 26. But for those of us that are slightly over the age of 22, unfortunately, the October intake for this qualification is the only one that you will be able to take advantage of that levy for. So for those people that are unable to draw on the levy, or want their employers cannot facilitate to support an apprentice, then the traditional payment methods can be also used for all 3 years, such as student loans, providing that you meet that criteria with Student Finance England, which, as I said earlier, is that you haven't had a student loan before, or that you are not already qualified to level 7. Now, I realise I've thrown quite a bit of information at you, and I do apologise, there's more to come. As we move into structured learning through training. So these are training courses, and IPPE offers a range of training courses and a selection of training styles as well. So we have PQL and e-learning, our payroll quick learn, of course, and e-learning, which are the fully online options for training courses. We also do instructor-led courses, which can be delivered either in face-to-face in a classroom setting or online. Then we also have in-house courses, which can be delivered face-to-face or online as well. But these tend to be exclusively delivered to your organisation. And then we also have the option of bespoke courses, which are the same as the in-house, where they're delivered to your organisation, but where the content has been slightly tailored to meet your specific organisational need. So firstly, let's take a little bit of a closer look at PQL, Payroll Quick Learn. So this is a recent addition to the IPPE portfolio and is designed to provide step-by-step training that can be completed within an hour or less. So whether you're looking to provide a starter training within your organisation, or for new team members, or offer specific subject training to combat skills gaps, this is flexible on-demand training that can suit everyone's needs. And as you can see, there's an absolute wide range of courses available, and new courses are continuing to be released. So once purchased, PQL is accessible for a duration of 12 months, as and when you choose, with the ability to access the content as many times as you need to. And an unlimited package is available for individuals and businesses, allowing immediate access to any new topics that come along as well. So as I said, continual new content is being released. If you purchase the unlimited package, you get access to those as soon as they're released within your 12-month access period. For business to business access, the 12 months would be prorated for any new starters as well, so that you can add people into that access within the 12 months, but they wouldn't get the full 12 months. So for instance, if you take out a business to business 12-month access and you have a new starter 3 months in, then they would only then get 9 months access, because it would be prorated. So we take a bit of a look at the instructor-led courses that we offer. So these cover core subjects through to advanced courses. And as you can see, there is a vast array of subjects available. We also have a selection of international courses as well. Delivery varies on these really from 1 or 2 hours, half-day courses, or some courses that run on over multiple days. And that depends on the depth of subject and, of course, the difficulty level of the subject being delivered. Majority of these courses can be delivered in a face-to-face environment or online, either publicly or in that in-house format where it's delivered to your business only. And content, as I said, with the bespoke courses can also be tailored to your business need if you require it. So if you're interested in any of these options of in-houses or bespoke courses and exploring what we can do for you, then please book an appointment with our inquiries team for a deeper discussion on that. And at the end of the presentation, I'll post their contact into the chat, and Leslie can do that for us while we're talking. Or you can have a bit of a browse on any of these products that I've discussed with you on our website at www.cipp.org.uk. So if you do enter some of that structured learning, or if you're looking at joining the payroll career, I also want to talk to you a little bit about the support that's available through CIPP membership, because there's an absolute array of benefits available to help support your learning, development, and your career pathways. So you can gain access to being represented within the industry by our CIPP policy and research team. Have your say as a pay professional and let our policy team represent you and your opinions at the industry, within the industry, through government consultations and think tanks, amongst many other things that the policy team do. You can maintain knowledge and skill, legislative updates, which are constant hot off the press updates, which are delivered in clear and concise language, which can help you sort of unravel some of that legislative speak as well. There's professional networking opportunities through our member events, such as the Be Connected and Be Knowledgeable ranges. And then there's, of course, hands-on support from the advisory service. And this is really advice by a phone call or an email. Advice and guidance that's provided by our brilliant advisory service, who are all experienced professionals. So you're not talking to a bot, you do actually get in touch with a real person, which is great. Also, you can look at joining a fantastic payroll community of practice. As I was talking about through the structured learning, that community of practice can certainly be a benefit to everybody, and also gives you the opportunity to be celebrated for your dedication to the industry as well. And recognition, of course, with those designatory letters. So finally, we've talked about the types of roles that are available in payroll, or the pay careers, and talked about some of those knowledge and skills that need to be undertaken and achieved before you can enter this pay community. And now really I wanted to share with you what we feel at IPPE is the ultimate blend. So what we would recommend really as the best approach to optimizing your knowledge and skills through that structured learning. So really, we would recommend a blend of everything. And I know that really sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but those formal qualifications and training courses, and of course the support of membership, to not only gain optimum knowledge and skills, but to update and maintain them as well. The exact ratio of each would depend on your individual current knowledge, your confidence, your abilities. Sometimes a training course can pique your interest or highlight gaps in knowledge that you were unaware of. Qualifications can help to feed the interest or close those gaps. Alternatively, completing a qualification can develop confidence that you have a firm knowledge base and make understanding the contents of a faster paced training course possible. And those faster paced training courses, of course, can provide more instant updates and refresh knowledge as you move through your career, particularly around those compliance and legislation changes. So in a nutshell, training is more of a short term, focused and really around compliance and legislation. Qualifications are developing your longer term skills, your confidence in your abilities, and the techniques to help you continually develop. But they both work alongside CIPP membership to support your continual career development. And at IPP and the CIPP, we collaborate so that our products complement each other and provide that optimum learning experience. We also work closely to ensure that you get the very best value from your membership as well. So hopefully that's given you all a little bit of food for thought, and I think I have got some questions in the chat.
Hi Jo, thank you for that session. Lots of really informative stuff there for everyone to take away, and lots of different opportunities for training and learning, which is amazing. So we have had a question for you.
Okay.
We've had one that says, us oldies who have completed the old 3-year foundation degree, should we still use the MCIPPdip letters, or would it be MCIPP-FDSC?
No, you would still continue to use your MCIPPdip, because even those graduating from the FDSC will still get the MCIPPdip as well. But the FDA in payroll management that is teaching out at the moment, run through the University of Worcester, is still absolutely recognised as one of the great qualifications to have within the industry. Really, delivery has moved on, so we've discontinued that product and are refreshing it with some newer online formats. But the knowledge and skills that you've gained through studying that absolutely gives you the right to display your dip after your MCIP.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that, Jo. I don't think we've had any other questions, but we do still have time. So if anyone does want to ask Jo anything, please do go ahead and pop your questions in. I'm just going to talk through an exclusive, exciting offer that we have at the moment. and then that should give you some time to ask your questions if you do have any. So for this week only, we have a really special promotion code. So you can use the code NPWMEM when joining as a new member to get 20% off your first year, plus we will waive the £50 admin fee. This does only apply to new memberships for the first year only, and renewals will be at the standard price. To claim this, you can't get it online, so you do need to email our membership team at membership@cipp.org.uk with that code, which is NPWMEM. And if you do have any further questions around membership levels, benefits, or any other general queries, please do reach out to us at that same email address. So that's membership@cipp.org.uk. And I can see in the comments we do have some Q&As which are in the Q&A box. Unfortunately, I can't access those. Can you see those, Jo?
No, I can't either. Libby, have you got access to the Q&A?
Sorry about this, everyone. Or if you're
Yeah,
happy
I
to,
do.
if you... Oh, okay.
So someone has asked, what level of qualification is the original MCIPPdip? They did
So-
theirs in 1990.
Yes, so the old diploma, the one before the foundation degree in payroll management, that varies. It depends which one you did. So there was a very old level 4 diploma where you did a couple of weekend schools, but then you had a final unit, unit 6, which was the one that gave you your level 5. So I would have to look at your record on that one. But the FDA in payroll management with the University of Worcester and Howe College, that is a level 5. So if you've graduated with that one, that is a level 5 diploma. So if it was the old tutor marked assignments that you did, TMAs 1 to 6, if you did number 6 through EdExcel, then you got a level 5. If you only did the 1 to 5, then you got a level 4. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you, Jo. And everyone's really kindly putting the questions into the chat function. So thank you, everybody. So we have had another couple of questions in, Jo. So the first one we've got is, since many payroll workers start in the role without prior experience but build knowledge over the years, how can they progress to more advanced qualifications without first completing the lower level ones?
Okay, so if you are looking at entering, say, at level 4 at that specialist certificate, then we do run a recognition of prior learning assessment. So this is a short exam where you can prove your knowledge at that lower level 3, that you can prove basically that you know those core subjects. And that RPL test checks that you understand how to manually calculate tax, national insurance, and your basic statutory payments. And when I say your basic ones, I mean SSP, SMP, SAP, but doesn't cover the shared parental. So you don't need to learn how to calculate that because that is covered in the level 4 course. If you're looking to dip straight into level 5 for the management stuff, then you do have to sign a declaration to say that you fully understand all of the content that we offer on that payroll specialist certificate at level 4, and the list of that content can be found on our website. I would strongly recommend that you take time to go through that list of content, because the level 5 qualification is quite challenging, and what we really don't want is for people really to set themselves up to fail, because you will struggle if you are not confident in all of that content that we deliver at level 4.
Perfect. Thank you, Jo. The questions are coming in thick and fast now.
Okay.
So for the
We've got
PTC, for the PTC level 3 entry level, it says e-learning. Is this
Yes.
to a timetable, or can the modules and tests be accessed or completed in your own time for those who work full time?
Okay, they are timetabled. We do issue a timetable. The only thing that is set in stone is the final assessment. So for the PTC at level 3, there's 5 units, and those units are released on a timed basis. So they're released roughly 5 weeks apart. However, you can wait, if you want, for all of them to be released and then start studying and blast your way through it quite quickly, as long as you've completed those 5 units before the final assessment date, which is a set day and time, because it's remote invigilated in an environment similar to this. So you are live watched doing your assessment, which sounds really creepy, but believe me, it isn't. It's very, very well set up. But that assessment is on a set date and time on the timetable.
Perfect. Do you have more information regarding the PQL? I think that'll be directing people to the website, wouldn't it, Jo?
Yeah, you can click, go to the website, the PQL page on the website. Let me get the link to that actually for you. But yeah, it depends what information it is that you're looking for. But we do have an absolute array of information on the website that you can look at. Bear with me, I'm just going to paste that in the chat, the link to that PQL page.
Thanks, Jo. So can I use the quick learning courses to support my apprentice portfolio, as I have access to CIPP with my apprenticeship? So would this be free?
Yes. No, it wouldn't be free, but you can purchase PQL to support on your apprenticeship. Yes. If there's areas that you feel you need to. But I mean, when you say you've got access to CIPP on your apprenticeship, do you mean you're taking your endpoint assessment with IPPE education? If so, then no, it certainly wouldn't be included in your package on that.
Okay. So the next one we've got, this is my first job and I'm completing a payroll apprenticeship. When I finish, I was thinking of completing a finance course afterwards. Would this broaden my future job opportunities as mentioned in the first slides?
So really, it depends whether you want to go into finance or payroll, in my opinion. If you really are interested in payroll as a career, then I would recommend doing a payroll specific qualification, because the payroll units within the finance qualifications are usually quite vague and sometimes only show you what the software is doing. So not really, sorry, how to use software rather than what that software is doing in the background. But so my recommendation, if you want a career in payroll, is to maybe look at some payroll specific qualifications instead.
Perfect. Thank you, Jo. We've got a couple more, and sorry, I am squinting because they've been pasted from the Q&A section, so they're really small. So if I've completed the payroll technician certificate, am I able to upgrade to the advanced level 3 and only complete the additional 3 units?
Absolutely, we do a top-up course. So you can just do the payroll technician certificate top-up, which is just those 3 extra units to gain your advanced diploma at level 3.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jo. With the IPPE qualifications, if after completing a level 3 qualification, is there a bridge or top up to level 4 or 5, or would they need to be completed in full?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't quite get that. Sorry.
It's all right. I'll put it to you again. So
Yeah.
with the quals, if you've completed the level 3 qualification,
Yeah.
is there then a bridge or top up from that to level 4 or 5, or would the level 4 or level 5 need to be completed in full? I think is the question.
Yeah. You would need to complete them. So if you have completed level 3 already, your natural progression route would be to go to the payroll specialist certificate at level 4 and then into the payroll management diploma at level 5, if management is the route that you want to take.
Amazing, thank you. So which qualification would enable you to confirm you're fully qualified? I seem to recall it used to be the old foundation in payroll management qualification, i.e. level 5.
Yep.
Is it still the same now, as there are so many more courses now available?
It's still the same, as in that if you are looking to be recognised within the industry as fully qualified, so having that MCIPPdip after your name, then it would be qualified to level 5. Now, the way that you get there now, since the FDA went into teach out, is by doing the level 4 payroll specialist certificate and the level 5 payroll management diploma. So if I just explain that a little bit, the FDA in payroll management that was a qualification for many years that gave you that MCIPPdip started in year 1 at level 4 and then progressed partway through year 2. You would switch to level 5 and then complete level 5 in year 3 to graduate with your diploma. So what you'd need to do now is do the level 4 payroll specialist certificate, then progress into the level 5 payroll management diploma, and you get to graduate then with your diploma in the same way. Now, it's great news really, because these qualifications, they're just more modern and delivered in an online format, which is far more accessible to everyone. But the other pluses are that those 2 qualifications come in at a lot less cost than the 3-year foundation degree in payroll management that used to be through the university. You still get to graduate after completing the level 5 with the CIPP graduation ceremony. You still get to qualify for full membership with the CIPP, and you still get to display that MCIPPdip after your name following your graduation. So it really gives you the same options for less money and also less time, because the payroll specialist certificate, as I mentioned earlier, is 38 weeks. The payroll management diploma is around 16 months. So you're looking at less than 2.5 years instead of that 3 years to do the same level of qualification. So
Thank you, Jo. That's a really thorough answer. Thank you. So I think we're going over a couple of things that we maybe have previously mentioned, but just to confirm, so after somebody's completed a level 3 qual, how do they then progress and get more experience?
So again, I would recommend the payroll specialist certificate at level 4, which gives you those more complex elements around that core payroll knowledge.
Perfect. And I think this is our last question. So I'm currently completing a payroll apprenticeship with IPPE as my assessors. Am I correct in thinking the qualification will come from IPPE, as they are the assessors?
Yes. So you will get a certificate from IPPE to say that you have completed your apprenticeship. But because it's an apprenticeship, you will also get a certificate from IFATE as well. So that's from the government department of IFATE to confirm that you've completed.
Thank you. And we have got one last cheeky question. So if I am payroll technician level 3, can I go straight to level 4?
Yes.
That was a nice, easy one. We got time for one more because one's just come in. Okay, so for people who aren't able to use student loans, is there going to be some kind of payment plan for the levels 4 and up to help spread costs?
That is something that the Institute is looking into at the moment. Unfortunately, it's not a simple step because we have to be registered with the is it the Financial Standards Agency and stuff to be able to offer payment plans, but that is something that the Institute is exploring at this time.
Thank you. Okay, we've got one more and then I think we'll cut off. So is there training for the level 3 RSL assessment?
I think they mean the RPL assessment, the level 3 RPL assessment. No, there's no training because it's actually there to test your knowledge. So if you don't already have that knowledge, you need to do the payroll technician certificate.
Perfect. Thank you, Jo. So as I said, I think that's all we've got time for. Thank you, Jo, for such a wonderful, informative presentation and for answering all those questions. You can see the National Payroll Week offer there on screen. So all that's left to say really is thank you so much for joining us. And we do still have webinars going on tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up for those yet, do go and register on the website. Happy National Payroll Week, and thank you once again for joining us.